Allahu Akbar.
Welcome back everyone. Today I will recap the 2019 Indonesian horror film named Makmum. Before we start, it is a request to please like and comment on the video as it will help us to grow our reach. The movie begins in the dorm of Citra Girls Boarding School, where Nurul tries to wake up Nisa for midnight prayers. She also tells her that Putri is not in bed and maybe she went ahead without them. Now that Nisa doesn't wake up, Nurul leaves alone to go wash first. After a while, Nisa wakes up and finds that she is alone in the room. She tries to go out, but only then does the door of the dorm open on its own, due to which she gets scared and runs back to her bed. Later, we see Nurul praying in her dorm when the door of their room opens on its own. Nurul continues praying, and we see Nisa watching her from inside her blanket, and then suddenly Nurul hears someone repeating prayers with her. The door of the room then closes on its own, which Nurul gets scared of, and then she again hears someone repeating the prayers. Someone then begins banging on the door and tries to open it, and when Nurul opens the door, she finds Putri there in a possessed state, and then she faints there. We then see Rini, who works in the forensic and morgue unit. While she was working on a dead body, she hears someone knocking on the door, but she doesn't find anyone there when she goes out to check. She comes back and starts working again, but only then the lights of the room start flickering. Rini requests not to disturb her as she is doing her job here, and the lights become normal. After completing her work, Rini notices someone behind her, and she finds the soul of the lady she was working on. She wishes her farewell, and the soul disappears from there. Meanwhile, we see Nurul stealing a key, and as she begins to leave, she finds that Warden Rosa is on the round. She hides there, and the key falls there, and as she reaches the gate to run away, she finds that she doesn't have the key. Now when she comes back to get the key, Rosa confronts her and asks her if she is looking for this. She then brings her back to her dorm and tells her that they have provided her with free accommodation and food, and she still wants to break the rules. The caretaker 𝐿𝐿 requests her not to lock them in their room, because if something happens, they will not be able to escape. Later that night, Putri gets possessed, due to which Nisa gets scared and tries to wake up Nurul, but Nurul was in a very deep sleep, so she did not wake up. Nisa looks back and finds that Putri is not on her bed, and only then does she find her standing in front of her. Nurul wakes up hearing her screams, and she asks Nisa to come down to her, and then Putri falls down and her body begins shaking violently. Nisa says they have to look for help, but they find that the door is locked from the outside. Putri gets up, and we hear her bones crackling, and during this, the door opens and they run out of their room. Putri knocks on the door to get out, and after a while, she stops, and when they open the door, she falls unconscious on them. Miss Rosa then comes there, and Nisa tells her that she was possessed again. She slaps her, and asks her does it hurt, and then tell them that they three have caused a lot of problems. Now while she is leaving, Nurul stops her and tells her that they promise they won't cause any more trouble, and request her not to lock them inside their room. She then visits Mrs. 𝐿𝐿, who asks her not to be too hard on the students. Rosa says they didn't choose her to replace her and expect her to treat them like she did. 𝐿𝐿 tries to tell her something about this school, but she asks her to rest. Now while leaving, she tells her that she has spoken to the board, requesting to let her go home so her family can take care of her. Meanwhile, Rosa says they have to seek help from their religious teacher Mr. Ganda. Nisa says they are not allowed to leave the school and asks her does she has his number. Now the next day, Rini's landlord visits her, and she says she needs to know her decision. Rini gives her half the rent, but she tells her that she needs to leave the room by this afternoon. Later, while she is leaving, she sees 𝐿𝐿 there outside her house. Now on the way to boarding school, we learn that Rini is an alumnus of that school. She asks 𝐿𝐿 about Mrs. 𝐿𝐿, to which he tells her that she misses her a lot. He also tells her that it's been a year since the president of the foundation appointed a new headmistress named Rosa Pambuti. She is very strict with Nurul and Nisa, and they are not even allowed to go home during the school holidays. Nisa is the smartest girl and she is an orphan from Bahar. Putri is from Banyuwangi. She has been there for 7 months, and she has been possessed multiple times. Nurul is a stubborn girl, but she has a kind heart, and she came from her town Jombang. Rini asks him where is 𝐂𝐋𝐖, and before he could tell her something, she notices a girl passing the road and asks him to stop the car. She comes out of the car and finds no one there, and 𝐿𝐿 asks her what's wrong. On the other hand, Mrs. 𝐿𝐿 hears someone's voice from her bedroom, and she gets shocked to see someone praying there, but when she looks there again, the entity disappears. Mrs. 𝐿𝐿 tries to flee, and the door to her room opens on its own, and only then Nurul comes there with her food. She brings her inside her room and tries to tell her that someone was praying here, but Nurul says she does not see anybody there. Meanwhile, Rini and 𝐿𝐿 reach school, and she says it's been 13 years. 𝐿𝐿 says let's go inside and surprise Mrs. 𝐿𝐿 with her presence. However, before going there, Rinny asks him if she can see her old room, and Slamit tells her that her old room is now occupied by Putri, Neural, and Nisa now. Rinny then enters her room, and here we learn that she and 𝐀𝐋𝐖 were roommates and best friends. Neural and Nisa then come there and ask her who she is. She tells them about herself, and then Putri also comes there. Nisa asks her if has she ever seen some creepy stuff when she stayed here. Only then Slamit brings Rosa there, and he introduces Rinny to her. Rosa asks her why she is interested in being a tutor here, to which she says because she owes so much to this boarding school. Rosa says as she is an alumni, the rules are the same as before and she just needs someone to enforce them. We then see Rinny in her room, and she gets shocked to see that the door of the closet is opening and closing on its own. She walks towards it to check it, and we see a ghost standing behind her that disappears the next moment. Rinny finds an abaya inside that closet, and while she is checking it, suddenly the ghost haunts her, due to which she gets terrified, and when she checks again, she finds that the abaya is not there anymore. She then goes to see Mrs. 𝐀𝐃, and they both get overjoyed and emotional to see each other. Slamit tells her that her speech aid is broken again, and Mrs. 𝐀𝐃 checks her hand. Later, we see her with the girls, where Putri asks her what happened to her hand. Rinny tells her it's a burn scar and that she doesn't remember most of the incident, but all she knows was that when she woke up in the hospital, her hand and half of her body were already wrapped in bandages. Rosa then comes there and tells them to leave the yard as they have to cook for lunch. After they leave, Rinny sees that girl there again, and she starts following her. The girl goes behind a tree, but when Rinny reaches there, she gets shocked to see that there is no one there. After a while, Neural comes to her and tells her that Putri is being possessed again. We then see possessed Putri telling them to go away from here. Rinny tries to go near her, but she keeps telling them to go away, and then she falls back. She then begins levitating in the air, and here we see that ghost possessing her, and then she falls and faints. Later, Rinny tells Slamit that they should take her to a clinic, to which Neural says she is not ill, and requests Slamit to go find Mr. Ganda. Slamit says he is a religion teacher and not a doctor, and only then Rosa comes there and tells them they don't need to call anybody to come here. She says she got possessed during the day, and there is no ghost coming out this time, and she just acted up to get more sleep. After she leaves, Rinny asks them does this happen often, to which Neural asks her does she believe them. Now Rinny tells them that sometimes people who believe in supernatural things are considered weak by others, and they doubt their faith in God. But the truth is that it's not unintentional. Sometimes they come to their world just so they can communicate with them. Neural asks her does that mean the spirit that appears during their prayer time wants to tell them something. Later, we learn that Putri's grandmother has a mental illness and she often abused her. Her mother passed away, and she told them that she had a sister, but she went missing. Rinny then visits Ganda, and she finds that he was one of her classmates. She tells him about the spirit, and he asks her did it always appear during praying time. To which she says most of the time, and during the school holiday, it becomes more active and aggressive. He tells her that there are dark spirits that don't like to see people praying. It's called 𝐾𝐄𝐿. There are jinns, ghosts, and devils who will do anything to keep them from obeying the Lord's words. They try to distract them while praying and make them forget the prayer. Rinny asks him if could he come to the dorm just to make sure, to which he asks her to call him if there is more disturbance. Later that night, Mrs. 𝐾𝐃 tells Rinny that she wants her to be the headmistress of the boarding school. Rinny asks her why, and when 𝐾𝐃 tries to write to tell her, we see a ghost holding her hand, and Rinny hears a horrified sound from around her. She then brings her inside with Slamit's help, and he checks and tells her that she is cold. Meanwhile, Nisa sees Putri going to the bathroom, and she knocks on the door and asks her if can they take a shower together. The door then opens and she enters the bathroom. However, we see Putri in the room, and Neural asks her where is Nisa. Here Nisa gets shocked to see that there is no one in the bathroom, and when she tries to leave, she finds that the door is locked, and then she gets terrified seeing the ghost moving toward her. Neural runs towards the bathroom hearing her screams, and here Putri gets scared seeing what she was drawing. She then also goes out and they both try to open the door, and then Rinny also comes there. They manage to open the door and find that Nisa is terrified, and they try to calm her down. Rinny then calls Ganda and tells him what just happened in the school. Meanwhile, we see that Mrs. 𝐾𝐃 feels someone's presence in her room, and then the ghost haunts her. Later, we see Rinny praying, and she gets shocked to hear that someone is following her prayers. Only then the ghost appears right behind her, but Rinny continues her prayers, and the ghost disappears after some time. However, Rinny notices that the ghost is standing right in front of her, and she asks her who she is. The ghost moves towards her and attacks her, and only then Slamit comes there and finds Rinny screaming there in fear. He tells her that something happened to 𝐾𝐃 and asks her to come with him. Meanwhile, Mrs. 𝐾𝐃 goes to Rosa's room, and she gets shocked to see her on her legs. Suddenly, Mrs. 𝐾𝐃 grabs her neck causing her to fall, and then she spits some black slime into her mouth. Slamit then comes to Rosa's room, and the door of her room opens on its own. She then comes out, and he tells her that Mrs. 𝐾𝐃 is missing. Only then Rinny comes there and tells him that she couldn't find her anywhere, and during this, Rosa shuts the door. Seeing this, Slammet says she is so rude and let's search for Mrs. 𝐀𝐑 again. She then says that the lower half of Mrs. 𝐀𝐑's body is paralyzed, so she won't go far from the school area. Slammet asks her does she remember the fire accident involving her that day. She asks why, to which he says not everybody was saved in that. Mrs. 𝐀𝐑 is suspecting all things that happened to those 3 girls have something to do with the accident, and that is why she invited her here. Only then she sees Putri going somewhere, but Slammet stops her and says let him go after her and she should go to Mrs. 𝐀𝐑's room. She keeps a box under her bed that she has to see. He then goes after Putri and finds her lying unconscious on the ground. He tries to wake her up, and we see Rosa behind him, who stabs him with scissors. Slammet tries to wake her up, but she continuously attacks him. Meanwhile, Rinny finds some newspaper clips in the box about the fire accident in their school, and she gets shocked to see that 𝐂𝐋𝐖 went missing after that incident. The scene shifts to the past, and 𝐂𝐋𝐖 asks her if can she be her Makmum, to which she says Ustaz said that doing a midnight prayer is better if you do it alone. 𝐂𝐋𝐖 says she doesn't remember the prayer, and then we see Rinny reciting prayers and 𝐂𝐋𝐖 repeating after her. After a while, Rinny says she can go to bed if she wants to, as she still wants to pray. Now when she returns to the dorm, she finds that there is a fire inside, and when she and Slammet go inside to save 𝐂𝐋𝐖, Rinny's hand catches fire. Back to the present, the lights of the school go off. Rinny comes out to light up the lamp, and as she turns, she gets terrified hearing a loud thud. She starts going to that side, but then someone holds her leg, due to which she falls and a fire starts there. She then wakes up in her room and sees 𝐂𝐋𝐖 comes there, lights a lamp, and goes to sleep. After a while, a curtain catches fire, and by the time 𝐂𝐋𝐖 woke up, the fire had spread in the whole room and she had burnt to death in the same fire. Back to the present, Gander reaches the school, wakes up Rinny, and brings her out of the room. Meanwhile, the windows of the girls' room open and a strong wind starts blowing. They both wake up and get terrified seeing it and try to flee, but the door of their room opens on its own and then it shuts again. On the other hand, Rinny and Ganda wake up Putri and Slammet, and we see Nisa and Neural screaming for help when the lights of their room go off. Only then someone tries to open the door from outside, and here Slammet tells them that Rosa is being possessed. Rinny asks him if 𝐂𝐋𝐖 was burnt alive, to which he says yes, and then tells her that night he and Mrs. 𝐀𝐑 found her body. And thinking that they would think it their fault and blame them and shut this school, Mrs. 𝐀𝐑 told him to bury her body. He says he thinks Putri is a medium for 𝐂𝐋𝐖 so they could learn the truth. She often terrorized Mrs. 𝐀𝐑 and him, but since Putri came, it got worse. He then says that apparently Putri is 𝐂𝐋�I's little sister, and that is why she is often possessed by her sister's spirit. Ganda then goes to help the girls, and during this, he sees 𝐂𝐋�I's ghost there. He asks her who she is, to which she turns towards him and screams, causing him to fall weak. He asks the girls to calm down, but 𝐂𝐋𝐖 screams more loudly, due to which he flies away from there. He then takes out prayer beads from his pocket and begins reading prayers, causing 𝐂𝐋𝐖 to spit blood, and then she leaves there. Rinny then also comes there, and Ganda breaks open the door, and the girls run out of the room. Only then do the lights there turn on, and Rosa comes there. Ganda says she is not Rosa, and commands the spirit to leave her body in the name of God. Rosa drags Neural to her with her powers and makes her levitate in the air. Rinny tells 𝐂𝐋𝐖 that these girls did nothing wrong to her, and she knows what happened to her. She requests her to forgive Mrs. 𝐀𝐑 and Slammet, as the fire was an accident and she was the victim. Hearing this, 𝐂𝐋𝐖 leaves Neural, and Ganda begins reading prayers to perform exorcism on Rosa. He tells everyone to repeat the prayers after him, and as they start the prayers, 𝐂𝐋𝐖 jumps on a wall and tries to move towards them, but she falls down. And when they continue their prayers, she climbs onto a wall, seeing which they all get terrified, and after a while, she falls down and becomes normal. They all then go to her and helps her to get up, but only then does the light go off, and the ghost of 𝐂𝐋𝐖 appears there in front of them. Ganda steps forward and begins reading prayers, due to which her body begins burning, and she falls down and then disappears from there. Later, Miss Rosa tells them that the last thing she remembers was when Mrs. 𝐀𝐑 came to her room and attacked her right there, and then she blacked out. Only then Ganda notices Mrs. 𝐀𝐑 unconscious under the bed. The next day, she tells Rinny that the board has agreed to appoint her as the new headmistress of this boarding school. Rosa says she is assigned to another school, so don't feel sorry for stealing her job. She then asks Putri to forgive her, and then tells them that 𝐂𝐋�I's grave is in front of the main house under the tree in the front yard. They then both go to that place, and Rinny says they are going to give her a proper burial. 2 years later, we see the batch getting ready for their group photo, and we see a spirit in the background watching them through the window, and the movie ends here. Please like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon never to miss new video updates. Thanks for watching.